I thought it was very important that we go live and discuss an issue that I think is plaguing the ummah today, which is the issue of takfir and tafsiq. And when somebody is calling people kafir or fasiq without evidences, without knowing the dawabit or the hindrances that the Sharia has put in place, the shurut, the preconditions that must be there. So what do I mean? Very simply, when you have people that start calling somebody kafir or a fake Muslim and things like this without understanding the seriousness of such a label. Understand, calling somebody kafir in Islam is one of the worst things you can call a Muslim, because you are giving a fatwa on their Islam. You are saying the truth. Kafir means the one who hides, right? Meaning when you have the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us and you deny Allah, you worship other than Allah, you are hiding the truth. You are hiding the fact that Allah is the one that created you. He's the only one that deserves to be worshipped, right? So now when there's a Muslim who has submitted himself to Allah and who's praying and fasting and doing things correctly and trying their best, and maybe they're sinful, but they're not kuffar, they're not people who deny Allah, they're not those who do the actions that violate the Sharia knowingly, understanding and so on, and you call them kafir, you call them a fake Muslim, you call them a hypocrite, you call them a fasiq, a sinner, when they may not have done that sin, when you may be wrong. You call them a kafir when they may not have understood what they're doing, then you put your Islam in danger, because the hadith that Imam Muslim has mentioned in Sahih, it tells us that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that when you call somebody kafir, that word comes down. When you call your brother a Muslim. Now, I will explain who the kafir al-asli and a murtad, like what the difference there is. But when there is a Muslim and you call him kafir, that word comes down. And if it's not applicable for that Muslim, if they're not actually kuffar, if there is a reason that you forgot to understand that their action, that maybe an action of kufr, does not constitute them being kafir, then the word comes back on you. That's very dangerous. So knowing that Imam Bukhari and other Imam have mentioned riwayat as well, that even talk about calling somebody a fasiq or a kafir, and if it's not applicable to them, then it comes back on you. So, because of this internet culture, because of this clickbait ideology, because of this viewer, hunger that people have, they're very quick with this. A Muslim does an action of sinful action, and quick people are, he's a fake Muslim, he's faking it, he's not a real Muslim, he's kafir, and that's very dangerous. And the issue that just happened with our brother Andrew Tate highlights that. Right? What happened? Andrew Tate had a tweet that was sent out that said, "I am your Lord, bow to me." Now those words are incorrect, they're wrong. As a Muslim, you should never say those words. Of course, that is correct. But people started to jump the gun and started calling him kafir. And I saw all the videos being posted saying kafir, and saying that he's no longer Muslim, and saying that he left Islam, and I even saw posts saying he's a dog of hellfire and this. Within a few hours of that tweet, these were going out, right? Now, without understanding that maybe the brother didn't understand what that meant. Maybe he didn't have the intent. And this is where the Sharia comes into play. People are ignorant, they need to be knowledgeable. And that is why takfir is not for the lay person. It is not for the average person to be going around saying this person is kafir and this person is Muslim. And this is something that we've seen time and time again. You'll see a brother, like we dealt with a situation in the UK before, a new Muslim brother, never studied Sharia, and he got on, I don't know, the TikTok or something, and then suddenly this sheikh is kafir and this king is kafir and this person, Allah. Brother, you don't know how to the ahkam of salah, you don't even know how to pray, let alone the dawabit of takfir, right? And this is very serious. Now, when somebody does an action of kufr, we don't justify that. I don't want us to be to the extreme of the murji either, right? We don't say if somebody's even doing kufr, but you don't know their heart, and somebody who's been warned and explained and understand, and there is nothing implementing that his iman could be the same as that of Abu Bakr, the irja, or being murji, this over leniency is also wrong, right? For example, sometimes if I say this Christian priest is kafir, people say you can't judge him. Well, I can, he's got a cross on, and he's saying he's Christian, and he's saying he's not Muslim. When I said Obama is kafir, Barack Obama, people start telling me, you don't know his heart. I don't know his heart, and I don't need to know his heart, because he openly confesses to being a Christian. So now the asal there is kufr. Now he could be Muslim. Maybe Obama, deep down inside him, maybe Trump's Muslim, maybe Biden Muslim, I don't know. But that is not something that Allah has made me responsible to know. Openly, when they come out and say they're Christian, Jewish, Hindu, atheist, we take that, right? Because their asal, their origin is kufr, because they are kuffar. I get it. But if somebody says, I am Muslim, right? Like our brother Andrew, our brother Sneeko, they said, we're Muslim. They say the Shahada. We've seen videos and pictures of them praying, going for Umrah, like our brother Sneeko, right? And then, if they do an action that is sinful, like our brother Sneeko, may Allah protect him, sometimes he makes mistakes, like we make mistakes. Sometimes he posts a picture with a woman or something. Suddenly, people are like, oh, he's not Muslim, he's a fake Muslim, he's kafir. You know, subhanAllah, this is a very serious accusation, and you cannot make that. I know Brother Sneeko, I went for Umrah with him, I've prayed with him, I've given da'wah with him. He's a Muslim. He says, I'm a Muslim. He prays, he fasts in Ramadan, he goes for Umrah, he gives zakat, he gives sadaqah, he donates to the poor, he gave money to Gaza, he speaks out for the truth. So he's a Muslim. Now, I'm not saying he's a role model. I'm not saying that, he's perfect. None of us are perfect. I'm not saying he doesn't sin. We all sin. I'm not saying he's not in need of advice. We're all in need of advice. But don't call him kafir. Don't call him a fake Muslim. That's a very serious accusation. You don't know what's in his heart. You see his actions of Islam, we judge him on that. Right? This is the Khawarij, the ideology of calling people kafir because they sin, the ideology of being quick to call somebody kafir without knowing the conditions. This is the other extreme. Murji are too lenient, Khawarij are too extreme. We, the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we, the people of the Sunnah, the Muslim Ummah, are an Ummah Wasat. We're the middle nation. We're the balanced, moderate nation. Now, if somebody does an action of kufr, this is very serious, because the statement that our brother Andrew Tate had put out was an action that could be of kufr. Meaning, if you tell somebody to make sujood to you or bow to you, and you tell somebody, I'm your Rabb, I'm your Lord, this could be. But even when that is there, we don't just call somebody kafir. Why? Because there are dawabit, there are things that are hindrances to calling somebody kafir. I'll go over 4 basic ones that the scholars of Islam mentioned. If you want more detail, look in the works of Ibn Taymiyyah, or Sheikh Abdul Rahman Nasir al-Sa'di has a book on Dawabit al-Takfir. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen also has a risala on it. Those are academic, amazing works. But I'll summarize some here for the internet audience to understand. One, that we need to make sure that they're not ignorant. They're not jahil of what they're doing. They may not understand what they're doing and what the consequence of that is. So knowledge is needed. He needs to know what he's doing is wrong, right? Second, intent, and niyyah. You don't know somebody's intention. Somebody may be joking, somebody may not understand the word, somebody may not be correct in their language, so their intent may not be there. Now again, it doesn't justify the action, but it does impede them being kafir, right? Third, you have to see that is it a deliberate action, right? They're not being forced, right? Fourth, that they accept this to be. They could be that they did something, but in their heart they weren't accepting of it, but there was this particular situation. Now what do those two entail? For example, if somebody puts a gun to somebody's head and forces them to say words of kufr, like Yasir radiallahu anhu and Sumayya radiallahu anha were killed in front of their son Ammar. And Ammar was at the point of death, seeing his parents being killed in front of him by the Quraysh, by the Mushrikeen, and his life in danger, and seeing that, he said words that would have been words of kufr, but the Prophet Muhammad told him that no, you were compelled. So he was not kafir, even though he said words of kufr, right? So now this is very important. Somebody may be compelled and you don't know about it. Some kings, some presidents may be under threat of life or threat of danger of war, and they say things and do things that would be kufr, but they don't intend kufr by it. They are being forced into it. just like somebody with a knife to their throat or a gun to their head. So now when you don't know that situation, don't jump for it. Why are you so quick in trying to call people fake Muslims and kuffar? Why is it your job? Leave it for the scholars. Leave it for those that are equipped. Like, just like somebody comes to me and says, I have a stomach ache, I'm not going to be like, it's cancer, you need to get surgery. No, I'm going to be like, go to a doctor who's qualified and get diagnosed, right? But I don't know why everybody thinks they're a scholar. Everybody thinks they need to give fatwa. No, you don't. Now, back to the question at hand. Our brother Andrew Tate made a post and he sent it. Now, in his mind, it was not meant to be in trying to compare himself to Allah. Na'udhu billah. Nobody is there's nothing that can be comparable to Allah. But that's not what he intended. In his mind, it was street speak about getting somebody to be subservient to you, right? Just like there are many rap songs that would say bow down, or they would say, I'm the Lord of rap. Again, I'm not justifying that. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm explaining his mindset and his not knowing that what people took it to mean. Now, what is very important, the most important thing that I want to do in this live is this point that I'm going to make. Everybody jumped on it. Now, our brother Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, made a very good academic video. May Allah reward him. But most people that I saw, they were just jumping on calling him kafir. He has left Islam. He's a kafir. Thumbnails going up. Why? Because it brought views. So these people, for whatever, I don't want to judge their niyyah, but they jumped the gun, calling him a kafir, calling him this, calling him that. What did I do? I didn't do that. I was traveling. I saw the post. I don't check his Twitter, but people sent it to me. I said, you know what? I'm going to give my brother Andrew the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because I've seen him take his shahada. I've seen him pray. I've seen him speak up for Islam. I've seen him make many mistakes. But I see him as somebody who accepted Islam. When he was arrested, he had a Quran with him. He called to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why would he go out and say that he is a Lord and trying to be comparing with Allah and tell people to pray to him? Why would he do that when he's somebody who we just saw standing up for Islam? Doesn't make sense. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not in touch with him. People started messaging me, your boy Andrew Tate. No, I don't know the brother. He's my brother in Islam, but I don't know him. Just like if our brother Sneeko makes a mistake, everybody sends me these messages. Hey, he's my brother in Islam, like he's your brother. And alhamdulillah, our brother Sneeko, every time I've given him advice, he's taken my advice. The good brother, he's trying to be good. He has mistakes. He does things wrong. We all do. But I know him to be sincere. That's all I don't know his heart. But when I see his actions, I see him to be sincere. So when people see a mistake and they start saying he's a fake Muslim, it hurts me. Because I know when he was with me in Umrah, how spiritual he was, how he was praying, and how he was fasting in Ramadan and still going for Umrah. I've seen that. So why are people calling him fake, not knowing the ibadah that he's doing, not knowing that he dedicated all his money in the month of Ramadan for the people of Gaza, not knowing that he didn't care about being taken off Instagram when he spoke up for Palestine? Knowing all of that from my end, seeing people that don't know him making these comments, it's very disheartening. So I want the Muslims, the kuffar, what they say, I don't care, but the Muslims to give brothers that chance. What did I do with the brother Tate? I saw those messages. I said, I was traveling, so I couldn't all the time. We're giving da'wah, we're giving durus. I got to Morocco. I said, let me message our brother Joel Sartorial Shooter, who is in the UAE. And we've done a podcast together. He's a very good brother. I see him to be a good Muslim brother. He prays 5 times a day. He fasts in Ramadan. He gives da'wah. Alhamdulillah. Not saying he's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But he's a good brother that I saw him to be on the deen. I said, I know he's very close to Brother Tate. He's his manager and so on. So let me send him a message. So I sent him a message. Hey, I saw this from Brother Tate. This is something that violates Islamic Aqidah. But I know our brother may not have meant it that way. Can you message him? He said, no problem. He said, hey, is it okay if I screenshot these and send them to Andrew Tate directly? I said, yeah, no problem. He screenshotted them. He sent them. Within an hour, I had a response saying, hey, Brother Tate has read your messages. He understands what he does wrong. He's going to send a clarification. Within a couple of hours of that, alhamdulillah, our brother had already sent a tweet clarifying that there's only one Allah. There's only one Lord of Lords, King of Kings. There's only one Rabb. There's only one Allah. And he in no way in shape meant to say anything that is wrong. He apologized. He said it was my bad, my incorrect statement. And he clarified that I'm from the street. This is how we speak on the street. So this is how I tweeted, not intending by it. Now, this is very important because that is why we have dawabit in takfir in the Sharia. That is why, because he did not intend it. He did not have that knowledge that this is the words that they contain. It was wrong, the words were wrong, but it was a mistake. It was not kufr. He's Muslim. He says, I'm Muslim. He prays. Look, with all his shortcomings, with his mistakes, he's still Muslim. Unless he does something that, according to the Sharia, takes him outside the fold of Islam, none of you have the right to be calling him kafir. Right? And this is an example where within an hour, he clarified the issue of somebody actually reaching out to him. Many people that could have reached out to him didn't. Many people that could reach out to our brother Sneeko don't. Instead, they use it for clickbait. They use it to get views. This is very, very serious. We need to give our brothers and sisters the benefit. People who don't have a hujjah on somebody say he's fasiq. He's sinful. How do you know? Did you see it? Do you have the evidence? Maybe there was a reason. I'll give you an example. And this is something that happened to me, and I've mentioned it a few times, but it's a very clear example, and it really drove the point home for me because it happened to me. There was a brother I know who was trying to quit smoking, right? And he told me, look, I have a problem. Is this like a habit of, that I need to, when I smoke, it's just become like a psychological, a clutch to depend on. I said, hey, get a plastic cigarette so you can hold it, so you can get in that habit until you can get rid of that as well. Not a vaping pen, not a nicotine patch, just a piece of plastic. And he was like, that's a great idea. So he got a piece of plastic that was painted like a cigarette. It had a little red, paint in the front but obviously it wasn't on fire. It had no nicotine, just a piece of plastic. Nothing, no vape, nothing. But it helped him because when he would hold it, psychologically, he would feel that feeling of a cigarette, and it helped him quit smoking. Alhamdulillah. One day he was in my car and he dropped it, on accident. I was going for Jummah. I noticed it in my car, so I picked it up. I put it in my pocket. I'm going to see him after Jummah because he was there at the same masjid. So I'll give it to him. It was in my pocket. I went for Jummah. I prayed Jummah. After Jummah, I was taking my phone. My phone was in my top pocket. I was taking it out, and as I was taking it out, it fell out. Now again, it's got a little red color. It's white and all that, but it was in my pocket. Obviously, it's not on fire. It's a piece of plastic. I saw it fall, and I put it back in my pocket, and I went outside. Before I could leave the masjid, there were people telling my kids, your father smokes. My son came up to me, Daji, you smoke? Of course I don't smoke. This guy just told me you smoke. I don't smoke. Yeah, subhanallah. I have never smoked a cigarette in my life. Right? But people not thinking, hey, let me go check what is going on. Let me see what it is. Not thinking, how could he have a lit cigarette in his pocket and a throw? People already out there, Sheikh Uthman smokes. Like, what's wrong with you people? Like, why are you so quick to wanting to condemn people? Look, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, Man la yarham la yurham. The one who does not show mercy will not be shown mercy. Have mercy on your brothers. Think good about others. Look, I'm not saying justify sins. I want to always keep that balance. If I see something wrong in a country, I'm going to say this is wrong. If I see Halloween being celebrated in a Muslim country, I'm going to say it's wrong. If I see clubs and alcohol being open, I'm going to say this is wrong. But at the same time, I'm not going to be quick to be like, you guys are all kuffar. No. Like, this is the problem. Be very careful. Now, alhamdulillah, once again, our brother Andrew Tate clarified the issue. He was very clear. He did it very promptly. Our brother Saitoyo shooter, Joel in the UAE, may Allah reward him. He was very quick to take that message to our brother and that advice that fixed the situation. But it also should teach us all a lesson. Give your brothers and sisters the benefit of the doubt. Understand that calling somebody kafir or fasiq has a huge effect on your Islam. So when you imply something and it's not true, then it can affect your iman. It can affect you being sinful. So don't put yourself out there. Now, if you see somebody doing something wrong, take it to the scholars, take it to students of knowledge, let them deal with it. Take it to people that maybe are close to them, that can advise them, let them deal with it. But don't think you are the head mufti of the world. You're sitting on an online platform, you haven't studied Sharia, this is not your job. Okay? Now, if you see something wrong, to call out the wrong, nothing wrong with that. Right? But to go overboard, there's the problem. MashaAllah.